Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. We headed back out to do some more hog hunting. This spot right here, once we get down in here, those of you that follow the channel, you should recognize some of. This is actually the area. This is actually the area that me and Charlie, the guy from West Virginia, went hunting. Whenever I got him on them hogs down here. I was sitting here looking at my maps, and I just heard some on the other side of this swamp. Bad thing is they're about 500 yards or so on the other side, and this swamp right here is just soupy mud. I don't know, when I get down here to the end of this little island, I'm gonna look to see if there's a way I can get over there. But so I've just been hanging out here for about 5 minutes or so, listening to see if they're coming this way, because there is like a little high ground that runs through there, but I am 3 miles in. And finally getting into some fresh sun. For a while there, I was seriously thinking about going back to the truck and going to somewheres up on the hill, which still I haven't rolled out yet. But this is fresh, fairly fresh. I mean, it still looks like it might be from yesterday or something, but the bad thing is the way all the rooting is going the way I just came from. So I never seen it back that way. But according to all the rooting, that's the direction it was headed. You know, because everything's pushed up, headed that way. I mean, that's not a guarantee, but that's the direction it was going. But I've noticed when they stick their nose in the ground and they push, it builds a mound. And the direction that mound, if you look at all the rooting in the area, everything's pushed that way. So that tells me it was headed walking that way. I don't hardly see any of it pushed up going the direction I'm headed. Everything's going the way I just came. I jumped up 3 deer about 100 yards behind me. There was 2 of them was together and one of them was by themselves. So that's a good little pinch point back there. Because I jumped up 2, or spooked 2, and they took off running. By the time I got to where those 2 was at, there was another deer coming out of that thicket back there. And I spooked it. And they caught my wind. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ease up. I got about another 200 yards, and then the swamp kind of gets shallow, and that's where I can cross and get over there. There's a giant hill over there. That's where I'm over there on that hill. If there ain't a bunch of hog sign over there, I'm just gonna back out. Because if they ain't over there, they're not in these swamps. My guess is they up on top of the sand hills. Maybe something up there between grapes and some of these early oaks that drop. Something's keeping them up there on that sand hill. Because the water's down enough to where they can get anywhere they want to out here right now. She finally seen me when she got over there. The poor fellow right there, he ran back up there to that nest. The rest of them took off and left him. Alright, enough with the coons. I'm headed back towards the main lane. I've done walked this big hill. And there's no hog sign out here. There's very little. I mean, the hogs, there is some hogs out here, but I'm not going to sit out here and waste my time chasing a couple hogs. I need to be where there's a bunch of hogs. So we're going to ease on back up towards the mainland, get out of the swamp and see if they on the edges of that big sand hill. I cooked me some lunch. Now we back out here. You can see I'm down. It's essentially a swamp, but it's not the big swamp. It's like a little bottom. But I'm right on the edge of the big hill. And going down the road, what made me stop right here was about the last mile on the road. The sides of the roads was just eat up with fresh sign. The hogs is up there eating. And I seen a couple of these live oaks that were dropping. And there was a lot of sign underneath them. So my theory that I was talking about earlier was essentially right. They up here eating what they can on this sand hill, on this big hill. But this spot right here, I haven't killed anything in here, but I've come up on a bunch of hogs in here. Last year, actually. What I'm going to do is make a big loop out here. And I'm going to try to get down to... There's another little creek bottom that runs up down here. I'm going to try to go all the way around and end up on that creek that's about 1.5 miles down the road. And then get on the other side of the hill and walk the swamp back up towards the truck. See if I can find them, figure out where they at. With the amount of sign that I was seeing on the road, they're on one side or the other. This side right here is a bit bigger. There's a big finger that runs out, and that's why I come over here. I'm gonna check this finger, and if they're not on this side, then they gotta be on the other side. shot on none of them. I'm gonna try to follow them and see if I can sneak up on them. I believe they done caught my wind. They either caught my wind or she smelled where I walked through at. Shoot, they running now. It's gonna be hard to catch up with them. Man, I was sitting here. I was actually marking these swamp chestnuts right here on my phone, and I had a flock of turkeys over here. I thought they were making all that racket because of me. I mean, because they wasn't 50 yards over there. And I was getting my stuff together to get ready to start walking again. And I heard the I was like, what in the world was that? And it sounded like it was back here. And then it did it again. And they wasn't 30 yards away from me right there. I don't even know if that's 30 yards. But there was probably 15 or 20 of them. All of them 50 to 80 pounds. And they started going back around, and the biggest one, the one that was leading, my wind's blowing this way. So I don't know if they got my wind. I think they smelt where I walked through at or something. Cause that big one started that long grunt. And then turn around and they run back the way they just came. But we're gonna sneak in here and see if we can get back on them. There is this little finger that I was talking about that comes out into the swamp. You can see I'm more in the pines right now, so it's a good bit higher than the swamp around it. The situation that I've come into or run into was I was following those hogs. I was on their trail. They had a beat down trail going down the very edge of the water and this right here. That's where they were traveling. And I was sneaking up through there. And then I got to thinking, I said, somewhere's up here. I remember the last time I was this far down in this finger, that there was a piece of private. The very corner of that piece of private comes onto this finger. Not probably 150, 200 yards. I mean, it's not, and it's just the corner of it. It sticks on there like that. I got up to the edge of that corner and see, like, the corner's like this, and then the swamp runs like that. So it's not much. It's not much land that I had to make a loop around. But I've gotten back over here to the edge, and I can't figure out. They either turned up, or I don't know where they went on the back side of this private, because I made the loop around the corner and got back on the edge of the swamp. I can't find none of their tracks. So now I'm just gonna finish making the loop that I originally was gonna make. But in the process, when I was looking at those swamp chestnuts back there, and marking them, and I was using my binos to look up in the top. Well, I guess we're about to find out how good the warranty is on these loopholes. Because the focus ring here, which I've had these things about 8 years, and it's kind of grindy right there, and it wouldn't hurt for them to be cleaned up. But the problem is, when I look through them and I try to adjust the focus, I can only focus one side at a time. Somehow or another, the focus ring has got off. It's not doing both of them at the same time. Like, I get my left eye focused in and the right eye is blurry. And I just adjust it over just a little bit and the right eye will be clear and the left eye is blurry. So I don't know if I can take it home and clean them up or what, but if y'all got any suggestions on some good but cheap binos, because I imagine it'd probably take me a year to get these things back from Loophole. And these are the only ones I got. It looks like I probably have to go buy me a pair of Vortex. Unless y'all have any other suggestions that's good quality, you know, and I ain't gonna go buy no $50 piece of junk, but yeah, y'all let me down in the comments what everybody recommends, and I'll do some research on all of them. I was following that edge. You can see this big hog wall right here. I'll come over here and I said, man, I was looking at it, checking it out. You know, look what is surrounding it. I seen another one over here a while ago. But that's awesome. After checking it, there's that one right there. That one right there. That one right there on the outside. And that one right there. There's 4 good persimmons right here around this hog waller. These 2 right here, it's got some good, it looks like there's another one over here, it looks like. I happen to use my close one eye on my binoculars because of how bad it hurts my eyes to look at them. Look at that trail right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a heck of a trail right there. Yep, that's another persimmon. Right there. Man, this is one heck of a spot. I bet you could sit right here throughout the day and end up shooting one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persimmons right here, all within bow range. No matter which one of these trees you want to climb around here, you better shoot all 5 of them. This trail right here, I'm gonna get this spot marked on my map and actually I want to find a couple trees for depending on which way the wind's blowing. because the movement's coming, I guess, be north and south. So I need to figure out which one of these trees I want to sit in, because this is gonna be a hot spot right here. As soon as them things start dropping, I see they start to turn yellow, so it won't be long and they're gonna be dropping. Which we ain't got but like 2 weeks till bow season, so actually 12 days. Alright folks, we are back at the truck. I believe I'm gonna call it a day. Sitting here looking at the map. I done did 9 miles this morning, and it's enough for one day in my opinion, especially when it done warmed up pretty good. The first 5 or 6 miles of this journey wasn't that bad, but these last 3 to 4 miles has been pretty rough. Well, we got out here, we got on some hogs, we got real close. The most successful thing about today is that after I made my first loop down into the big swamp, not seeing a whole bunch of sign, that the decision to back out and come up here to this big sand hill to get up towards like all these live oaks and stuff was spot on, you know, because I was able to come right back out here and boom, run in all kind of sign, and that drove a hogs that I wasn't paying attention and walked up on, you know, and there was, I don't know, I can go back through the camera and look, but I bet you at least 15 to 20, and every one of them, the smallest one was about 50 pounds, so that was a good bunch of hogs right there, and every one of them was nice and thick and fat. None of them look raggedy or nothing. I'd like to get back in here and get on them right there, but the next real opportunity will be opening day of bow season. I got those persimmons back there marked. I wish I put all my eggs in one basket. That's where I screwed up at. Leading into the season, I've been doing all my scouting on the river because I haven't been able to hunt the river the way I wanted to because the boat's been tore up. So I've got all these areas marked on the river, and then yesterday my boat motor blew up. So it's kind of, I'm back to square one. Now I'm trying to find spots by vehicle access out here in these swamps to start with, and then like I said, that will be a jam up spot based off of what I'm seeing right now. When them things start dropping heavy, once bow season comes in, that's probably where I'm going to be at open in the morning. Whew, that's some cold water. About to give myself a brain, yep. Alright, well, I'm fixing to ease on to the house. Hey, I do appreciate everybody's input on everything. I appreciate everybody that watches and follows along. Thanks for watching my videos. Y'all stay tuned. We'll catch you on the next video.